we're lucky that we recognize that there is a boost of power. And so we start here talking about how criticism disempowers and demotivates people. Now, criticism, this is for us to realize in ourselves, really, that criticism is a huge habit. Huge. For people who practice spirituality, for healthy, wealthy people, for poor people, for everyone. And as the pressure develops in the world, it's very tricky for people to stay motivated. And we have to check ourselves over and over, because some of the teachings in Raj Yoga are that we have to see others as equal to ourselves. Equal doesn't mean that they're sort of shoulder to shoulder and doing the same thing. Everyone's different and will always be different. It would be a very strange world if people were not different. It's the difference that makes the variety, that creates the wonder of life. And so we're all together and we're all different. And even when we come under a similar canopy, we're completely different. We're not the same. And so you wouldn't want it otherwise, really. But what happens is we think, oh, why did they say that? Or, oh, they're not actually doing that. Or, oh, they're doing this, and really, I think they shouldn't be doing that. You have a habit of criticizing because you try to make them come under your canopy. So that is not healthy, actually. We can come together with a feeling of sharing, a feeling of similarity in our spiritual understanding, because Raj Yoga says we're all energy. It's because there's so many differences in personality that we start to see and criticize. There have to be differences. So the only thing that we really share, we've got different religions, different lifestyles, different jobs, different skills, different appearances, different everything. But we're all energy, souls. And we all come from that same place. And if, when we practice meditation, we can teach our own selves to understand differences and not to criticize. Because we're saying today that criticism disempowers and demotivates people. It does. If you criticize, they draw back, they put up a barrier, and the minute you've criticized them, even if it was for their own good as you think, they would be instantly criticizing you for having the cheek to criticize them, for not understanding, for saying that to them. And they would be so hurt inside. So by criticizing, you cause chaos to someone. And they momentarily, perhaps, hopefully, lose that motivation or that trust, because they think you're going to find fault over and over in them. So it's something to really think about. And it's to look at the self in that. It's not to look out as to who's criticizing who. It's, am I still critical? I can be critical of myself, because that's what Raj Yoga is teaching me. Criticize myself and say, oh, it'd be better if I hadn't done that. So I can check myself, but I mustn't check others. So if we give appreciation to people, and everyone has something amazing that requires appreciation. Even when people make effort to come out when it's pouring a rain or it's dark at night, that should be appreciated. And if someone maybe doesn't have much in the way of wealth, but they still put some pennies in the box, that is something to be appreciated. And so I have to teach myself to see the value in others. And it's there for us to see all the time. But sometimes we're so busy looking for something more than they are giving that I cannot appreciate who they are or what they are doing. If we give people appreciation, it empowers and energizes them. And now, why is this? How is it if I give some appreciation that it can empower and energize someone? Because the habit of criticism is over the whole world, second by second. People will be criticizing with their minds, if not with words. They'll be criticizing, oh, this, don't like that. Oh, what's happening? Oh, don't like that. And if someone shines out there, they'll definitely start to pull them down. Because who do they think they are? Oh, my goodness. Oh, and all sorts of waste will come. But very few people, perhaps people's family, will appreciate. Maybe from time to time, but not always, because they can be criticizers as well, but they will see things that are special. So that's why if we give appreciation, even with our thoughts and just through the way we look at people, just through that understanding, we give them energy and power. So it's so subtle that I think we would not have thought of this before. And we go on thinking it's correct to have criticism in our mind because we want it to be accurate. How can we make everyone in the world accurate the way I want them to be? That doesn't work. That would never work. I have to appreciate people for exactly who they are. So, if I can appreciate others, I can give them power and energy. And we're saying here that we create, and I checked this out actually, about 30 thoughts per minute. So a thought can be quite a long thing, and a minute's not that long. But we create only a few sentences per minute. So if I have waste thoughts, there's not that many in a minute. But thoughts travel faster than our words. So if I have really critical, not so nice thoughts about someone, we think, oh, it's just a thought. It was in my head and out. But it travels and actually adds to criticism in the world. It touches everyone, that criticism. It's like, what right have I? What right do we have as individuals to criticize another individual? What right do we have? What right? You know, when you really look at it, it's like, oh. And again, if I send out criticism to someone, they will react inside when they pick up criticism and throw it back out, which will then come back and touch me. And they will close down. Don't trust you, you keep finding fault in me. I don't trust. No matter what I do my very, very best, and still you criticize me. So people don't like this. So when we understand the wonder of appreciation, let us be generous in our appreciation. Just remember, it's not an everyday energy. And so it's very special. So that if you send out appreciation, people will definitely pick it up, that they're being valued. Because everything people do that we might be criticizing them for, they're doing it to add to their value. They're doing it to do something, to please someone, to whatever they can do, to follow whatever they think, follow rules or regulations, and do it gracefully. So appreciation, you can never do enough of that energy of appreciation. Because appreciation gives people the energy to realize and then transform their own weaknesses. They'll think, oh, maybe I was wrong. They might think that now. But if I criticize them, they'll think, you are wrong to criticize me. Who are you to criticize me? But if I give them appreciation, almost against their conscious wish, people will think, maybe I could have done that better. Everyone actually wants to shine. They all want to do their best, whoever they are and wherever they're coming from. In their heart, they want to do the best they can. So we cannot make people realize their weaknesses. Oh, they would absolutely rebel against that. So different from the way we were taught and the way we were brought up, because we used to get told that we've done this and you've done that and you change this and you do this or else. And inside we did rebel, but then we gave in because whoever it was the way of life, and that's how it was. He just got into trouble and cried and was upset. But it's a different world now, and I think it's actually easier to give respect, because respect and appreciation is not high on the list. People have so much worry, so much pressure, so much feeling, if only, oh, how can I do this? I wish I could, I must, and whatever. They're really sincerely, they're praying to God, they're going to their temples, they're praying for that strength. So it's up to us who know about appreciation to give appreciation. And so realizing, this is for us, what I need to change and why I need to change. I have to really completely obliterate criticism. And we would never think that just having a little critical thought of something we might think was quite good is not good. It's hurtful and harmful and creates barriers. So when I realise that, it's like away with criticism of any kind. Even if you think it's useful, it's not useful. There must be other ways to keep things on track and to help people, but not to criticise. So I have to realise what I personally need to change and why I need to change. I need to understand the damage. And this has to come from myself, from me. Everyone can have self-knowledge. So everyone out there, they know all about themselves. Everyone knows. Everyone can look into when they were this age and that age and at school, and everyone knows their own life story. It's all recorded in them. And they do not need advice. It's interesting, really. They would resist advice most times. So if you come with giving that advice and telling them to change this or that, you just can give the story of how some energies are harmful and that we all have those harmful energies, and it's up to ourselves to change them. But they need power to change their negative or weak habits. And the way to give them power is to be understanding, to keep checking myself, that I'm not adding to any of that criticism. And our love and appreciation is the key word here today, can give people and ourselves a boost of power. And so when we have that boost of power, remember, inside every human being is a treasure store of all the beautiful qualities, which, including ourselves, we were not able to access until we became peaceful. And once we practiced peace, strength, understanding, courage, determination, love, power, all started to emerge in ourselves. So, our love and appreciation can give ourselves and others a boost of power. Okay. There is a difference between judgment, making a judgment, not judging, but making a judgment about what's right and what's wrong, and criticism. So if you were putting together a party or a program of some kind, you would sift through that which was right and discard that which wasn't. Some people might get annoyed at that, but you'd be making the best judgment to get a successful gathering or a party or whatever. So I was also thinking that it is to do with ourselves. And if you really look at it, we were talking and I was remembering that there were people who gave me criticism and I thought it was totally not necessary. And the only way I can get rid of that now is to make myself let that go. So all of you must have feelings of resentment which you've carried. That's where meditation comes in. I can now sit in peace and put right that which has been made wrong. And therefore I can let go of the resentment towards people. It's an instant, it's almost like a protection for ourselves to criticize someone. And it's quick as a flash. And I think you would not even realise maybe till later that you had criticised someone. Except that you would not have made a friend of that person. And how many people have we not made friends of? It's up to us now to take that uncomfortable feeling away from ourselves, because we're energy. And our energy touches everyone's hearts, which is why meditation says, send peaceful energy. And yet we, with sincere hearts, we're sending out peaceful energy. But we're forgetting that we also have sent out a lot of other energy and we haven't corrected it. So you have the right to tell people to not be critical when you're still holding on to criticism. I think it's good for us now that we can really look at criticism and make sure that we're not holding on to any, and do our best not to give any to other people so that they will be holding on to it for the next few years. So, Om Shanti.
I turn my attention within so that I can feel the awareness that I have a body, but I am the inner being. Turning my attention within, I'm able to feel that difference. Being internalized, I can sense that my being is so different from anything physical. I can feel the quality of peace, that what I am is a being of peace, and I act through the body. I see through the eyes. I hear through the ears. I speak through the mouth. I am very subtle. The body is my instrument through which I act. I perceive the material world through my senses. Being turned within like this, I feel the difference between I, the self, the body, my instrument, and the external world.